All right, guys, welcome back to the Not So Serious Life. That is Elvis. Oh my, do you have the same shirt as Elvis? Holy, hey, now Elvis disappeared. He's a floating head. Oh wait, there he is. Wow, Steve. How did you find the exact shirt that Elvis wore?
My daughter searched and bought it for me. This is the shirt that Elvis wore in Blue Hawaii. I'm sure everyone already knows that.
Of course, he was such a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty secure. I'm married and everything, but come on, he's a good-looking guy.
and he could sing.
And he could sing, of course. His talent, we don't want to forget about his talent and just, relegate him to being some sex symbol. As a matter of fact, speaking of sex symbols, we did our dance party recently, which was a lot of fun. And we were contacted. I didn't even tell you this, Steve, because I didn't want to get your hopes up. We were contacted by the Magic Mike people, and they want us to be in the next sequel. And I told them no.
Good.
And it wasn't because of ethics or morality. They weren't going to pay enough.
All right.
So I hope it's okay that I said no on your behalf.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
because I didn't want to have to lose weight.
Yeah, and I didn't want to have to gain it. So, and they
Yeah.
said we can keep all the dollars that were thrown up on, but I just think that's not for us. So,
All right.
so you ready to jump into our question for the day?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So you know how this works: 3 boxes,
Okay, I want Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes. Okay. All right. Now, Steve, I got to tell you one other
How
thing.
much time are we going to give Kellogg's before we just drop this cereal thing?
Okay.
Uh,
I have an idea. I think I know what the problem is. Can I tell you what the problem is? Okay, so can I give you a quick sales lesson, Steve? I don't know if you're big into sales.
I'm open.
Okay, so the question's here. I'm gonna put it aside for a second, and I just want to say that I think the problem here is that when you go into an organization and you want to coach them or you want to sell them a service, one of the big things is to help them not just solve their problem, but to solve their customer's problem too, right? To really just go as deep as possible. And so I realize we're doing something wrong. So let me just open this up real quick. See, there's a conglomerate. Kellogg's doesn't exist. Cereal companies don't exist if they don't have certain partners. So what I want to do is I want to put the cereal in here, and we want to bring the dairy farmers into the mix.
Okay.
The dairy farmers, because
This sounds kind of desperate to me, Jason. Are you sure this is a good idea?
it's so desperate, Steve. It's so desperate. So dairy farmers, Kellogg's, look at this. Look at this beautiful bowl of cereal. Target China.
What about the sugar lobby? Can we get them involved?
Absolutely. So, full balanced breakfast. Kellogg's, look, we're really trying to help solve your problem and your customer's problem. So, that being said, wow, that's a lot better with milk, Steve, just so you know. Let's get to our question for the day.
All
Our
right.
question for the day is, it comes from Richie Ravioli, because people don't make up fake names. This is his real name. And the question is, you like that, Richie Ravioli? The question is, how do I stop letting my mother turn me into a negative person when I'm around her? How do I stop letting my mother turn me into a negative person when I'm around her?
Yeah, that's a big one. So I think you have more to say about this than I do.
What are you talking about? My mother watches this show, so I have to be very careful.
No, you've done some stand-up with stories about your mother in it.
I have, and it's all from a place of love. So the first thing I would say to do is to find out what your mom's favorite book is, and then buy a copy of it, and then rip the cover off of it, and put the cover onto a copy of Reinventing Yourself, and give it to her, and maybe trick her into reading that book. That's my first thought.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, if it would help book sales, yes.
Well, that's what we're all about. My second thing, though, is in all not so seriousness, her being negative has nothing to do with you, right? And I know what this looks like, just being around people in my own life that are negative, and I don't want to reward it by letting it be contagious. I don't want to take on the victimness and reward that and become a victim of their victimness. So I actually like what he said. It actually goes a little further, and he says, besides, how do I stop letting my mom turn me into a negative person when I'm around her? He says, she's very negative, blames everyone for everything, and is always telling me what I should do. I don't know how to respond besides not saying anything. I love that approach, not saying anything, because that means you're not giving any power to it. I think you could take it further. You could change the subject, or you could walk away, or you could ignore it, or you could do what you've always told me to do, Steve, is get the popcorn and be amused. And so my goal when dealing with negative people, especially if they're close to you like that, is to find out how you can be amused instead of triggered.
Right. Good.
So what about you? What do you think?
So I'll throw this in. So I like to see, let's say I've got a negative mother. I like to see, now 7 billion. How many zeros are in 7 billion? Jason, do you know?
Is that 10?
No.
9?
It would have to be a multiple of 3.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, you're
let's
right.
say
9.
this
9.
let's say this is 7 billion, okay?
12. Yeah, that's it. 12.
Now
That's
see
it.
this fraction here? Can you That is your mother. She is one of 7 billion people on earth.
Yeah.
That's how significant she is. Until you start adding significance and taking her personally and telling yourself stories like, yeah, but it's my mother and it's harder if it's my mother and it's my own mother being so negative. No, no. You want to watch her like she's a movie. You want to bring popcorn. You want to sit back and listen to her and be amused by her. You don't want to take it personally and wish she was different. It's like the orange tree in my backyard. Wishing my mother was different is like going out in my backyard every morning and looking up at the orange tree and saying, "Aw, I always wanted a lemon tree." And every time I come out here, it's an orange tree. I feel down every day. Now, at some point, your mother is your mother, and she's this significant. That's how significant she is. That's how important she is. One of 7 billion. Is that really 7 billion?
I think that is. I think you got it. Yeah.
Okay. She's one of 7 billion people. She means nothing until you give her extra meaning. So it's all in your head.
I love that. Yeah. So don't let her negativity be that significant in your life, because it's not. It's 1 out of 7 billion. Like that's like that's great for all of us just to remember that we are 1 in 7 billion. So anything that we encounter isn't really
But
that
we're
big of
not.
a deal.
I'm saying his mother.
Oh,
is,
just his mother.
yeah.
That was a really.
We're TV stars, aren't we?
We are TV stars.
We've got a TV show.
We do. We
Talking
do.
about his mother.
Yeah, with all.
She is 1 in 7 billion people.
She looks good. She looks svelte and thin in that depiction there. I like that. That was good. Okay, so your mother is worthless. No, I'm kidding. Your mother's not worthless. Your mother's 1 in 7 billion. She doesn't have to have any more power than you give her. Is that right? Now, what about, and I don't, not to beat a dead horse, but like, where does the role come in of still maybe having a conversation to be empathetic and say, hey, I could see how you could see the world that way. And if they're still like, no, I don't want to hear it, then you can decide whether to walk away. Is that still good to do, you think?
Absolutely. If you don't take it personally and you don't allow it to affect you, you can say, boy, I really hear you. I really understand how you're feeling. I've been there myself.
I love that. And that doesn't just go for mothers. That goes for anybody in the world who may, trigger you, as we've heard people say before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. So save the triggers for the gun range. Richie Ravioli, there is the answer to your question. Guys, please send your questions to us if you want us to answer your questions on the show. We're getting tons of questions. I love them, and they're so much fun. Send the questions over to questions@thenotsoserious.life.com. And if you have not been over to our website to sign up for our Not So Serious Life Inner Circle, please go ahead and do that now. The website's on the screen, thenotsoserious.life.com, and we will see you guys next time. But I feel like you want to say something.
I bet he has an Italian mother given his name.
Yeah. Mine's Richie Geviltefish if I had sent in a... See you next time.
Bass.